This is a news article from CBS News, September 10th, 2003. Black hole sings in key of B flat. Andy Fabian, a professor at the Institute of Astronomy at Cambridge University, talks about the black hole, and he says about the black hole that the voice of the black hole is detected by analyzing the pattern of X-rays, which is light, form of light, coming from superheated gases in the galactic cluster, said Fabian. Okay, the sound consists of pressure waves, and in effect, he said, the sound waves cause bright and dark emissions of X-rays, moving in rings away from the black hole center like ripples of the surface of. So in other words, they had this black hole singing the key of B flat, 57 octaves below middle C. Right here it says. It's far below the range of our human ears to hear that. And here's a picture, one of my pictures of my copyright from '99, and it's a black hole singing the key of B flat. There's just this is one of the many drawings. Here's the clown, there's his nose, there's the black hole. And 5 and 7 is 12. There's your 12 right there, and there's your fault line there. 58 is 13. That's where the 3 comes from. It's actually the B on top of the B, F-L-A-T, B flat. And also it has F-A-L-T here. It says don't get stuck in 3D. So that's your 4th dimension of the black hole. And if you notice, this original says Spitz Records right here. And if you notice, these are records and light and sound coming apart. There's your hands of light and sound operating at the black hole. If you spin the picture a little bit, you can see also that there's records and people coming apart here into the black hole, and it says Spitz Records on the original. And we're going to move to the demonstration of that on these terms here. This would represent a 365 here, a sun pattern, 365 here, an opposite sun pattern, shooting a 1-on-1, becoming a rod and cone at 729, creating nuclear clouds on a straight chain, which is creating linear planes here. And if you notice, it says Earth here, and this is actually a calendar. And so this is the operation of 2 suns creating universes. So in actuality, you'd have a nuclear dust cloud here. One of these would cause polarized light to cause dust cloud to rotate counterclockwise, the other one clockwise, creating planetary union here. This becomes your X-ray pattern, and these become your rings. As Andy Fabian says, these rings of emissions are moving away from the black hole. And here's a model of gene transcription. It has rings also going left and right, and as these go left and right, they weave double strands of DNA and single strands of RNA, making sister strands and planets, and we do the same thing along the celestial double helix X-ray pattern. And these are your rings as the X-ray patterns move away from the center of the black hole. And here's your sun and your moon. I'll tell you how that's related to these operators of light and sound, as the sun and moon become promoters of light and sound at the black. This is more of the cell envelope orchestrating light and sound, light and thunder at the black hole, operators and promoters of light and sound, 365 and 352 and 360. Rings, natural 360 and plus natural 360 equals 720. 720 divided by 101 equals 7128, 7128 repeating in absolute values. Notice 712 plus 8 is 720. So we're going to have the relationship of these 2 circles in that equation as 360 minus 8 equals 352, or 360 plus 8 equals 368, again equaling 720. This is one of the rings that Andy Fabian was talking about. At least it can represent one of those rings of light. And I'll have another ring of sound. This is 360. My circle of sound will be a 352 circle. But first I'm going to show you how this sine bar dispersal pattern works. I take this number 360 and I divide it by 8. 360 divided by 8 equals 45. Then I take 45 and multiply by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and finally by 9. And when I multiply it by 9, again, I get back to 360. And notice all these totals right here. 45, 90, 135, those are all multiplications of 45. I place them around this circle here in the proper order. 8 times 45 is 360. 9 times 45 is 405. And so I take all these totals around the circle and I add them up to final sum single digit. And I have that pattern right here. When I add all those subtotals up to final sum single digits, I end up with 9s all around this circle. So I call this circle circle of 9s. There's also a circle that reflects light. There's another equation here, a series of equations. If you add any number to 9, for instance, if I add 1 plus 9 equals 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. If I add 2 plus 9 equals 11, 1 plus 1 equals 2. So any number I add to 9, eventually final sum single digit will give me that number back. So 9 also equals 0. Now we're going to take a look at this 352 sine bar dispersal pattern is based on 352 divided by 8 equals 44. I multiply 44 times 1 equals 44, times 2 equals 88, times 3 equals 132, times 4 equals 176, and so forth. And I keep multiplying 44 times 8 equals 352. And I place those around the circle once again. And now I'm going to add these totals up to final sum single digit. And if you notice, 3, 5, and 2 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. 3, 0, and 8 equals 11. 1 and 1 is 2. These numbers here add up to 12. 1 and 2 is 3. These numbers add up to 4. There's your 4. These numbers add up to 5. There's your 5. These numbers add up to 6. There's your 6. 8 and 8 is 16. 1 and 6 is 7. 4 and 4 is 8. Again, 3, 5, and 2 adds up to 10. 1 and 0 is 1. And 396 is your ninth total right here. That adds up to 9. So you have this rotation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a natural rotation off your 352 sound circle. Now when you place those two sine bar dispersal patterns on top of one another, you'll notice that you'll have a 45 on the sound circle and on the light circle, and a 44 on the sound circle. And we go up to these very small equations up here, and you notice 2 divided by 44 equals 0.044. 2 divided by 44 equals 0.045. So you have a change in numerical values, absolute totals here. 44 equals 45, and 45 equals 44. And there is one way these two circles intersect, become one, and also the natural rotation between all these points on these circles at this point is 1 here, 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 at these totals. So in other words, 360 minus 352 is 8, and this sine bar dispersal pattern puts 352 and 360 together. And 352 represents the dark emissions, the 360 represents the light emissions. And if these equations right here, 2 divided by 45 equals 0.044 and 2 divided by 44 equals 0.045, take action when you place those sine bar dispersal patterns on top of one another, and they share these two spaces here, and there's your 44 and 45, creating those equations. And if you notice also, at these various points, as the sine bar dispersal patterns intersect one another, the difference between the points here, 44 and 45, is 1. The difference between these 2 points is 2. The difference between these points is 3. The difference between those points, 4, this one 5, this one 6, 7, 8, and in here there's a difference between 405 and 396, which is 9. So if you notice, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the final sum single digit pattern of your sound circle, and they intersect perfectly with your light circle, creating singularity in your rings. And that's just one of the ways these things activate. And another